What's up? This is Keith Kalfas, and I'm in Detroit Sponge, the window cleaning tool store in Wixom, Michigan right now with Mike Woroway. What's up, Mike?
Hey man, how you doing?
In this video, we're going to actually show you the inside of what does a window cleaning tool store look like, all the different products that you can get. Maybe you're just getting started in window cleaning, or you're a veteran who's been cleaning window for 20 years. There's so many different products available and so much new technology that's come out. So we're going to do a video overview and show you all the different products. What's up, Mike? You doing good?
Yeah, doing great. It'd be great to have you out here today, Keith. I'm going to walk around the warehouse and show everybody everything we got.
Okay, cool. So let's take a walk around and just do kind of a general overview. And this will be part of a video series where not only are we going to show you all the window cleaning tools and water-fed pulls and all the stuff that's come out, but underneath this video we're going to put links below where we're going to get more detailed and granular and show you individual products, so you can check that out as well, because I know you want to hear about that stuff. So Mike, let's take a tour around, starting with everything on this wall, from the water-fed pulls and all the squeegees and scrubbers, and what's going on.
Sure. Well, we always cater to the professional window cleaner, so our goal is always to have the gear that you need to be out there servicing your clients and keeping them happy. It requires everything from the regular window cleaning simple tools of scrubbing, squeegeeing, ways that you can carry your tools on your person, buckets, and how you can kind of have your own rolling toolbox and your toolbox out there at the job site, all the different variety of the scrubber sleeves that you have. Again, with the holsters, solutions that'll help solve problems for you as well. And then you get over towards the water-fed systems and the water clarity systems, where now you're able to have all of the pure water equipment that you need out of the job, as well as we'll show you the carbon fiber pole stash in the back, that we have all the poles back there. But these are all the tools that you're really going to need, even down to the gloves and the buckets, stackable ladders, everything in stock for you to be able to be successful out there washing windows.
Cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get B-roll footage and show what you talked about.
Okay.
So I'm not going like this.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Alright, so this is cool, Mike. Show us more. Even though you got all these little parts and components and everything you could possibly need to do window cleaning, from sponges to all this stuff, let's take a walk around. Oh, look at this. Even every different type of soap to the glass gleam and everything. Let's walk up and down the aisles, and so I want you to show us all the different products that you guys have.
Great. Well, we're glad to be able to show you all the stuff. We have all of our manufacturers that we represent. Our goal is to have the quality tools and keep the quality up of the lines that we represent. So these are some of the, where we're starting here in the warehouse, these are the Sorbo products, which so many people have become fan of the Sorbo Squeegees. Nice and thick. They hold their shape well. They do a great job of squeegeeing the windows off, allowing you to even use large size. So on a lot of the high-rise buildings, you'll see that they're very popular to use a 24-inch or 30-inch squeegee. Things that'll hold its shape real well, as well as all the handles that go along with it. There's a lot of durability here with the Sorbos. These are all U.S.-made product. Soren is the founder of Sorbo, and he actually started out washing windows, and he's grown into selling all the different supplies now, and it's a business that's been around for a while. We have things like the Triumph scrapers. We got scrapers that are 6 inches wide, really truly an industry product, where window cleaners know how to handle a 6-inch scraper. It's not something that you'll see out there on the market a whole lot. Does a great job of removing all types of debris from your glass. The real popular squeegee nowadays, the new concept that's hit out there from Moerman, the Moerman Squeegees. They have their own liquidator squeegee channels. as well as their flick pads for being able to wash the
squeegees. I
squeegees.
see these all the time.
Yep.
Liquidator. I want to try these. Why are the edges like that?
Sure. So you see how the edge is kind of bent in towards the glass.
Yeah.
When you're up there cleaning the edge of the window, that's going to cut into the edge a little bit more, give a little bit more pressure. We have one other manufacturer that makes a channel that's similar to that, and it allows you to be more precise when you come around to do your swirl technique around the edges of the window and rips that water away from the edge.
Cool.
Accessories, some of the little tools in the industry are things that make a big difference in your time savers. This is one that's designed as a track brush, so you can just envision the tracks of a...
Oh, dude, I need one of those.
Yeah. Tracks of the window, you can get this in there. It's got nice long bristles, nice and stiff. It also will slip into your back pocket, making it easy to carry. It's got a nice wood block to the top. These are very popular. They can make you save you some time on the job and really service that client better. Even down to former window cleaner guy who designed these as well. They look almost like a can cozy, but these actually are designed to go onto the bucket on a belt or the hip holsters, the plastic hip buckets, to stop dripping. So when you're out there on the client, you don't end up dripping things on the floor. All sorts of little accessories and difference makers that can help you be more efficient out on the job, from belts to holsters, squeegee cutters. One of the tools that's kind of a fun story too are these ledgers. These are something.
I got one of those.
It was made by Jerry back in the day. He was a window cleaner and he couldn't get the windows cleaned all the way to the ground with a pole. So he actually bent one of these.
That thing's a one-trick pony, dude. I love it. It's like you don't bring it out a lot, but when you do, you're glad you have it.
Yeah, and now they're available in swivel and everything else. You can envision that if the window is real deep set in, this allows you to be able to get over the ledge and finish that window all the way to the bottom, nice and square. Jerry even designed these pivoting versions now where you can come sideways on a window. Makes it a nice addition to be able to get to the windows that may be a little bit more of a challenge. They all come in different sizes, even the big kahuna here that's for really deep windows. Obviously this would be a specialty thing that you're out there on a job and you need that extra. Wagtail is something that's made in Australia. Willie is the designer of it. A whole bunch of different options for his squeegee. The swipe has been one that's gotten some attention here recently. A whole bunch of all-in-one tools where you can squeegee and scrub. There's different models and different versatilities to them for sure. The high flyer seems to be one that's getting a lot of attention here lately. You can scrub the window and then you flip it and you're able to squeegee.
Oh, sweet.
Come in different sizes. Window cleaners have found steel wool to be a big practical thing to help you out on the jobs. The coarseness of this is not going to scratch the glass. It's actually very, very fine. And it'll basically polish the glass. So you can do that sometimes instead of using scrapers, because scrapers have become kind of a challenge on certain new glass that's out there. A little bit of a discussion about what that all looks like. But the steel wool is a great tool for people to have. So we stock all the extension poles too. We deal with the main major manufacturers that sell tools into the window cleaning world. So Sorbo, Unger, Ettore, Pulex, all the extension poles. And down this aisle we have all of the Unger items. Some of the innovation. Unger seems to always be innovating. A couple years ago they came out with their Ninja scraper. It's a nice 6-inch scraper, really nice holster, allows it to be able to put onto your person. Snap this in securely to where you can hold the scraper, and it also angles, so you can actually pivot and get a little bit more of the correct angle when you're up there trying to scrape on a pole. Sometimes it's nice to have a scraper that has a little bit of an angled head to it, and then again when you're all done you get to store that back securely on your belt. They also came out with their belt system. They have ergonomic belts that have padding, cushions, a little bit more, just a little bit more comfortable for your workers while you're out there on the job site, as well as all the holsters, the traditional double loop leather holsters, things that are nice to have. Part of their Unger line too. Unger makes a lot of different cloths, but they came out with this Ninja cloth, which is very unique. It has these pockets on the edge that are actually rough and abrasive, but then when you're squeegeeing the window, you can actually, when you're trying to detail the window, you can put your squeegee channel into this and it kind of works as a pocket to where you can reach this up and be able to detail the edges. So that's pretty cool. that you reach out a little bit further, and it's that low loop material that does a great job of wiping the window without leaving any streaks. Again, Unger gets into all sorts of different products for the window cleaning world. You know, these are like the gold here with the squeegee rubbers. Squeegee rubbers are very important when you're out there on the job. You all know that. They're incredibly precisely made so that they provide you with a great slide with no defects. You're not going to leave any lines or streaks behind. We've all been at that spot where you've used a squeegee rubber a little too long and you start to realize it real quickly. It's a big thing to have the professional grade squeegee rubber. Unger is also one of the top selling sleeves that we sell with scrubber sleeves. There's a different variety of materials that make them. This is a particular one. Yeah, this is the Monsoon. It's all cotton fiber, very long fibers, does a great job of holding the liquid, scrubbing on the glass real well, getting all that dirt and stuff suspended so that you can squeegee it off. And they offer them in all the different sizes, even some Unger gloves, all sorts of things.
Do you know what's funny? When he talks about it, it's also cataloged in his head that anyways, it's just funny how you can just keep going and going.
Yes. So down this aisle you got all the Ettore products. Squeegees are one of the things that Ettore really is known for. They have a variety of the channels that they make, the materials, but their squeegee rubber is what has been their real success point over the years. So you can see the squeegee rubber nowadays is comes to you in packets so that you can actually have it be protected and store it, so that between usage you can just open this up, grab the squeegees out. You know, and workmanship is really quality here. This is all U.S. made product. They got their little sticker. It's all made in the U.S. Great company out of California.
Oh, sweet.
They really are one of the driving forces in the professional grade window cleaning world. They make their own line of scrubbers as well. Some of our more populars, and then some of the unique ones are something like their porcupine here, where it has these pieces of nylon stitched into the sleeves.
Yeah. That's cool.
So out your way, when you got the fish flies and you got the mayflies, these tend to really make a big difference. You'll notice with all these products that we have, I could talk for hours about all the different products. The reality is they're all designed to help you guys address certain challenges that you have out on the job, because even though we're all in the business of getting windows clean and keeping customers happy, the fact is that some windows present interesting challenges, and the different products will help you to reach in, get to the right places, and be able to service the job the most effectively while you're out there too.
That does make a lot of sense, because I've gotten frustrated with certain houses that we clean. Then I just change the product that I'm using, and then, you know, I didn't know that all these products were available when I first got started. And so just by trying something new, it really makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and at the same time, they're all available, but yet everybody doesn't need every product we sell. So our whole point of having stuff in stock is so that when you do have that challenge out there on the job site, we can help you with the right tool to be able to get that job more successful. Even things like scrubbers that are available in different sizes. You know, you take the difference in size. Obviously, this would be appropriate for two different types of jobs. And if you're doing residential, if you're doing commercial, you might never want something this small. If you're doing residential, you might never want something this big.
Yeah.
But there can be some crossover.
Squeegee for residential.
We seem to sell a lot of the 14-inch squeegees, but it depends regionally where you are in the country too. Some places seem to have a little different style of windows, larger windows. If you're in that ocean type environment where there are large plate glass windows on people's houses for the views, that can make a difference in what choices that you make for your style, for your sizes of squeegees.
I was using a 12-inch squeegee on all of our. I was using a 12-inch squeegee on the residential houses because the 22 was way ridiculous, and the 22-inch squeegee was like hanging out, and like sometimes it would smack against a wall or something because it was such a big. So I had to remove that completely. But then the 12-inch was too small, so we're using a 16-inch Sorbo squeegee for all residential houses. Between the 16 and the 14, that's perfect. But
yeah, well, it's a real mix, you know. This is where some of it comes to you. You're running your own business, or if you have crews or whatever. The fact is that your height can affect what size squeegee you find to be perfect, because I'm 6 foot tall, so your reach is going to be a certain amount. Well, maybe that select squeegee, the 16 would work better for you. Over time, the 18 is always the best seller. But I will say that all the manufacturers make them in 2-inch increments, from 6-inch all the way up to 22 and beyond for the Sorbo. And the whole point of that is that there's sometimes just a little bit, if you got a guy who's 5'8" and a guy working with his partner is 6'2", their reach is a little bit different, and having a little different length of squeegee can make a big difference.
That makes sense.
It is kind of hypnotic. It's like a...
All right, cool. Now we're at the...
These are what would be
Bucket
referred
on
to
a
as
belt.
bucket on a belt. This one's called the Sidekick from Adaray. The manufacturers make different ones, and the fact is, what you start to approach your jobs and you have the challenge. You got to get the squeegees and all this, but then you want to be efficient on the job site as well. This is a fantastic innovation that's come along where you're able to put it onto your person, have your scrubber in it as well as a squeegee, and that way you can carry. It's almost like your portable toolbox that you can carry around the job site without having to have a bucket.
Absolutely necessary for a residential window clean.
Just the fact that you can stop the dripping, so that you don't have to have a dripping wet scrubber setting down somewhere or anything like that. Just that is great. And these are detachable. They offer detachable ones, and then also ones that have a loop. And the whole point of that is so that when you're done working, if it's full of dirty water, you can unsecure it from your belt and be able to empty it out.
Oh, so that's sweet. You can just unsecure it and dump it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dude.
Right.
Like, no. I've been legit stuck for the one that doesn't disconnect. I've got a different one. It's you actually have to like move your body. Let me know in the comments below to dump the dirty water out if you don't want to take the belt off. So that's cool. It has a quick disconnect.
Yep.
I got to get this immediately.
Some people like it. The only thing with it is if the distance between your belt and say your knee is on the short side, the ones with the detachable clips tend to hang down a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. And we've had some guys say that over the day they can really bust their kneecap because it hangs down the wrong spot. So it's one of those things that can be customized for you, and you're out there, you're doing the work, so that's where it's important that you pick the tools that make the most sense. There are a lot of tools on the market that do the scrubbing and squeegeeing at the same time. This one's from Adaray. This is their back flip. It can also be rotated around so that the squeegee and the scrubber face the opposite direction. Sometimes when it's real hot, that works out well because you're able to put this up there, scrub the window, flip it back around, and have the squeegee facing the other direction.
See, that's sweet.
Yeah, so that works out pretty well.
This guy sent me a YouTube comment the other day. It was where he was. It's extremely hot out, and he's trying to squeegee the windows, and every time we go to squeegee, the water would be evaporated off and squeaking and dry. So he's like, how do I do that?
Yep.
So that's a lot faster to slosh it on, just saturate the window with water.
I want to cut this apart so I can. So this would be where you're talking about that high temperature. You can use this in a few different ways. You could actually use it separate, squeegee and scrubber, or you snap it back together. You're able to scrub the window, flip it around, squeegee it. They intentionally designed it so that when you do that, the scrubber stays back from the squeegee, so it doesn't tend to want to drip the water onto the glass that you're working so hard to clean. All the best quality rubber components on all of this, and Adaray's version is really one of the more versatile that allows you to be able to orient it in different ways. So that can be a good one for you. Again, more poles. Lots of poles, and the variety of the poles. I just spent just a minute talking about poles. There's a combination between the number of sections as well as their telescope length. So this is what would be a 3-section 9-footer. For instance, in this aisle here, if we're working, maybe you need a pole that doesn't stick out so far behind you when you're making your downstroke. So that's where the 3-section fits in. Then you can easily telescope it up, and it'll reach all the way up to as high as 9 feet. Just a twist of the collar, and that way you can reach up higher. But the ability to have this compacted all the way down can even come down to you figuring out in your vehicle.
Take me real quick. When I first started cleaning windows before I got a water-fed pole, I went and got like a 22-foot, and I was like, and I put a squeegee on it. So I was scrubbing. I was like, that thing's wobbling around. Then I'd pull it down real quick, and I'd put the squeegee, and I'd go back up. And then it was dry, and then it wouldn't work, and I was so angry and so frustrated trying to do that. I want to know in the comments below if you can actually squeegee like a 2-story window with an extension pole and do it right, and what tool do you use to do that? Because it literally would take me 5 times on a window. I was so frustrated because it would be like that if I didn't have a ladder and I didn't have the what are those called?
The rotating scrubbers, like the
No, I'm talking about a ladder that has the feet that adjust for when you're on the side of
self-adjusting legs.
self-adjusting legs. So I'm trying. You can extrapolate what I'm talking about, dude.
Yep, and that's kind of where you go to trying to have the right tools for your challenges. But doing what you guys do on a pole up high, squeegeeing a window, is not that easy. It's a skill that you acquire. So if you're out there and you're learning, stick with it. But next time you're out walking around and you see somebody washing windows too, watch them, because a lot of the contractors out there are really, really skilled. So more squeegees, more scrubbers. These are all from Poolex. You can see that they have their own version of a back-to-back kind of squeegee scrubber device. Scrub the window, flip it around, squeegee it. Again, more of a specialty tool, not something you're going to use every day, but it can help solve problems for you. We also have a whole bunch of brushes, sometimes brushes for if you're washing people's siding or you're washing the surfaces around their windows, and even with screens, there's a lot of different brushes that are available. These are all synthetics. One of the fun things that we've sold over the years are these boar bristle, China bristle brushes. Yeah. These things are not real big sellers nowadays, but they do such a great job of scrubbing. These boar bristles really are about the best bristles out there that I've seen. And years ago, window cleaners would use this as their regular scrubber. There was no window cleaning mop type scrubber. So we would sell hundreds of these brushes to folks, and you would use the same brush for a long, long time. The bristles would start to just wear down and wear out. Nowadays, these are very heavy. Don't sell a whole lot of them, but boy, they do scrub the window really, really well. You mentioned self-adjusting ladder levelers. We sell some sets of those as well. Those are great accessories for you to put on the bottom of your, these are Level-E's made right over here in Michigan. And they can go right on the bottom of your extension ladder. And they will allow you to level off the surface, because obviously you guys are out there in the job site. The house might slope down, so you have to be able to level the bottom of that leveler off to be able to give a stable thing. We talked about steel wool earlier. This is bronze wool. Steel wool obviously will rust, so bronze is a little bit less, it's rust resistant.
I need to get some of that, dude, because my steel wool, I'll let it sit and it'll get all rusty. And
yeah, it starts to turn your water brown real quick, and steel wool goes quickly. We've even designed now bronze wool pads.
Oh, sweet, dude.
That will work on the old-fashioned type of doodle bug type scrubber.
Doodle bug?
That's what this used to be called, yeah. I've been around too long. So this is a kind of a fully reticulating joint here. This can be screwed onto a pole.
Bro,
gives
show
you
me
great
something for scrubbing and cleaning skylights. What? Not the skylights that are just a skylight. The ones that are deep up inside of like a concave crevasse, like way up in there,
sure,
without the water dripping down the wall, like,
yep,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, nowadays that challenge is largely helped by the use of pure water. So Unger has a set of pads that you can put onto something similar to the doodle bug that we just looked at, and I'll show you those. They're microfiber pad, and they're basically going to allow you to get up to there into those kind of curved surroundings. Use pure water just in a mist environment where it's not real wet. You're not introducing a lot of water, but you're polishing the surface of the skylight, and those are very, very effective and very popular. So we can we got also, we can walk down there now and look at those if you want to.
Sure, yeah.
Walk back over here.
I want to see the skylight pads.
Yep.
Those are sweet, dude. Because if you've tried to clean a skylight with a squeegee, check this out.
Yeah.
This thing's sick.
So this goes on to a pad holder. Fresh stock.
Here, let's switch places because the light. There you go.
So this is the pad. It's a microfiber special technology pad that Unger makes. It's designed so it really polishes. It's got that fine texture to it. I would recommend that you dampen it with pure water, which is either something you make with your pure water machine, or you can pick up a gallon of distilled water at the grocery store. That's the same thing. It doesn't have any impurities in it, so it's not going to leave any spots or stains on the glass. This just simply is held on by Velcro. You're able to put this onto a pole. It fits, Unger has an adapter, so it works out real well with their poles. Put this up there, and you'll basically almost polish clean instead of thinking of the scrubber with the squeegee. But it does a fantastic job. We sell a lot of these pads. This was a big innovation by Unger. The right level of moisture is important, so you don't want to get it too wet, because then you'll just swirl things around on the glass. But boy, if you get it right, usually you use a series of pads where you change them. You have, maybe this is the ones you put up there and it gets real dirty. You take it off, you put the next one on, you put it up there, and you're able to detail clean the edges. Works out fantastic. Makes window cleaners a lot safer too. The skylights have always presented a big challenge for window cleaners.
Well, one thing I love is the water-fed pole, especially the skylights. You can be like, hey, make sure you hit those skylights, and then you'll be in the house cleaning, and you'll see that your guy just literally can reach a water-fed pole all the way over a roof and clean a skylight, which is so cool.
Yeah, the skylights are great for the water-fed stuff on the outside for sure. Old-time, traditional tool in the window cleaning world has been the stack ladders. These are 6-foot sections. They're all made here in the United States by a company called Metallic Ladder. They've been making the same design. We've seen window cleaners be in the careers for 40 years, and they've always used stack ladders. You assemble them straight together, so there's different pieces. This is the top piece, has this nice V-groove plate to it, allows you to get in close to the work. You stack this onto your next section, and they simply stack up so that you can set the ladders up as high as you need them to be set up for work. A lot of times when you're first starting out your business, these are popular because they'll actually slide into the back of even a car. If you lay that back seat down, you can slide them inside. Not a whole lot of window cleaners are using just ladders anymore, but it's still an appropriate choice for jobs out there. Some of the purified water stuff is great for a large chunk of things, but sometimes you still need ladders, and those have really been known as window cleaning stack ladders over the years. So we can keep walking. We also sell to the high-rise community, so we have on the right side of this aisle we have all the water-fed items, and over on the other side we have all the high-rise items. These things are really specialty things, not something to think that you can just train yourself and go out there and do. There are regulations and rules about different things to make sure that you're safe in the job, make sure that you're not creating hazards for other people. But this is a viable part of the window cleaning world for sure. All those buildings that are out there, the big buildings in downtown New York City, Chicago, every other major city in the United States, there are window cleaners out there that are going to jump off the edge and hang and clean the windows. So those are all those type of specialty tools. And nowadays we get a lot of the conversation into the water fed. So water fed pole is the technology. The system cleans the water.
Wait, 1 second, I want to show this sweet. Oh wow, all the stuff for hanging off the side of the building, man. Let me know in the comments below if you do chair work.
Yeah, we sell a lot to the people that do the bosun's chair work. There's also more and more of stage work being done with some of the new rules that have come out.
Yeah.
It's fun. Some of these devices are, rated, these carabiners are rated to hold 12,000 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay.
All sorts of things. Even the suction cups are always kind of fun to look at. You don't actually suspend yourself by the suction cup, but you can imagine when you're hanging over the edge on a chair, you're swiveling around. Sometimes it's nice to be able to stabilize yourself, so you'll slap this onto the glass,
Suction.
and it'll suction on, and then you release it to go to move around. So water-fed has been the thing that's really kind of blown up the industry in the last, I don't know, it's a new thing in the market for the last probably 10 years. And inside of there are so many variation of things available. We stock a few different lines of the water-fed. This is mostly the Gardiner product. Things like the gooseneck at the top that deliver the water from the pole to the brush. There are so many varieties. There's difference in lengths. There's ones that swivel sideways. This style that goes into the end of the pole versus ones that screw onto the threading at the top of the pole. A whole bunch of different options. And each one of them is designed really to be able to help you service those jobs and make sure that you're able to reach all the windows effectively. The pure water work is really a mainstay now of the window cleaning world. Brushes, a whole bunch of different brushes that are available. These are a blended brush. where they have the natural bristle in the middle and the like we were talking about with that boar bristle over there, that style of bristle in the middle along with nylon around the edges. Kind of gives you a little variety in how it scrubs. Does a great job. You have different brushes designed for different things. You even have brushes all the way down to small brushes, so that if you had those old historic homes that tend to have those small leaded glass windows, these can be a big appropriate tool for that. Hoses are a big part of the discussion. The hose is very lightweight, but yet it's very flexible. So this is a 300-foot hose, not very heavy. Allows you to be able to take your machine, leave it where it's in one spot on the job, and then be able to pull the hose out around. This is the Gardiner line. This is the one that comes with all of their poles.
How many feet is that?
That's 300 feet, 100 meters.
300 feet. Yep.
And then you get into the gloves. We're in Michigan. Winter is a part of our regular diet and routine, for sure. Even our springs sometimes can be cold, even our falls.
Oh, sweet.
So we have a lot of different texture of gloves that are like the form-fitting, like the Glacier glove there, versus ones that are more of a mechanic style.
Take me. I want to try this glove line. So this is totally waterproof?
It is. Loosen up that wrist strap there and it'll let you get into it. There we go. Completely waterproof, gives you good dexterity. Nice. It's a good texture here.
It's like some RoboCop. But...
Yeah, grab that.
Wait.
There you go.
The way the gloves it looks like it's like a... Never mind. So...
They call that their perfect curve because the fingers are pre-bent for you.
How much are these?
Those gloves run about $30.
Dude, these are sweet.
Yep.
Okay, you can have it back.
But we have all sorts of different types of gloves and styles. That's good that you enjoyed that one. These are probably the warmest gloves that we sell, and while they look ridiculously huge,
That's sweet.
they're really warm, and the texture of them allow you to be able to grip items and not have to squeeze. Because you know, with keeping your hands warm out there, one of the keys is the blood flow.
Rubber?
It's like a diamond cut rubber. Yeah, it's like a PVC that's dipped in this diamond type stuff. Hey, you know, gloves are important, right? So.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. The liners also pull out, because one of the things that you guys also notice as contractors when you're out there is after sweating in your gloves and wearing them for a while, they can tend to have an odor to them. Yeah. So you can pull these out and wash the linings independent of the outsides. That way you can get a fresh pair for the morning.
Okay, so here's an important question. If somebody's cleaning windows and it's that cold, how are they stopping the solution from freezing on the windows?
Yeah, well, there's only a few things that bend nature, and what you're trying to do is make water not freeze at the temperature that's normal. So the strongest version is alcohol-based, so you would use methanol. Most window cleaners are using windshield washer solvent, or maybe some will use RV antifreeze, not RV antifreeze. Really largely they'll use the window cleaning solvent. And in the windshield washer solvent, when you buy it, you got to watch it because it can be rated from the different manufacturers for different temperatures. And what you're concerned are really the wind chills. When you get that water all spread out on the glass, it might only be 25 degrees, but when the wind blows, it might drop the wind chill down to where it's below zero. So the alcohol in the windshield washer solvent's what makes it not freeze. And it's not easy work, but you know what? It's the way it is in these northern cities. We have cold.
Oh yeah.
Now we're getting into the water-fed poles. He's going to show us, and so anytime there's another video walkthrough we did, I'll put a link in the description below this video for Detroit Sponge, where he just shows everything. And we're going to also have more videos and showing in more detail about the products as well. Cool.
Yeah.
This is the one that, well, that's the 18-footer.
It is. So the water-fed pole is going to be the link that gets your pure water up to the job sites, so up to the window, so you can do your magic and get the window cleaned. These are made of materials involving carbon fiber. They're sold in different grades, where there's some that are less carbon fiber and then some that are the higher technology, high modulus carbon fibers. And there's a trade-off between the weight of the pole and then the stiffness and rigidity when it's all the way extended. All of the lines that we sell have different options available. The Gardiner, it's real simple. Their red is their composite, then their black SLX line is their carbon fiber, and then this one that I'm holding in my hands, their extreme, really is their high modulus carbon fiber. You're going to get more rigidity as you go up for sure. All these clamps just open up and you're able to telescope the sections out. So we can show you when you telescope this up here, they're very lightweight and they will stay very, very rigid when it's all the way up. So this is at probably about 15 feet. It's stiff. And the key with the stiffness is so that you don't lose any energy and so that you are the most efficient that you can be out there at the job site. And then of course the lightweight is so that you're not wearing yourself out. We've even had, I'd say this last year, one of the bigger trends has been people buying, window cleaners buying these poles and using them for their regular poles instead of for just waterfed.
Ah, really? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. And because I know with the heavy waterfed pole, like a really heavy one, if you got like a 45 or 65 footer, but you're just doing 2-story residential houses, you're carrying around all this extra weight.
Right.
But your shoulders, you're gonna have ripped shoulders, dude. They're gonna be shredded, bro.
That's one good thing. You can do a workout while you're washing. But the poles are available in a lot of different lengths, and that's what you're talking about is that, you know, you gotta figure out that happy medium where you have the right tool to reach up high enough, but at the same time you're not carrying around a whole lot of extra weight. So in the residential world, we see a lot of the 27-foot pole, the 35-foot pole. If you have a lot of 2-story homes, you go around the backside, it's got the walkout basement. It seems to be that 35-footer is about the best choice for size, and they can work out real well. All the sections are replaceable. The Gardiner line, most of the lines, but especially in the Gardiner line, you can actually add sections to it. So if you bought a 35-foot pole and then you land that new hotel in town and you got to get a pole that's just a little bit longer, you can actually buy the extra sections and be able to reach up just a little bit further.
And you know all this because you're on the phone with window cleaners every single day, all over the country, selling and shipping products in. So you hear and know all of it. You go to all the major trade shows, not all of them, but I mean,
right.
Like you just know this stuff.
Yeah, we're deep in the industry, and we really try and listen to you guys when you call us or you have comments or suggestions or reviews of products, because we don't use the products, and the key is that you guys have to use stuff that works. What I've seen over the years is sometimes there'll be a splash of products that come into the marketplace, but the reality is that over time you can tell what's going to really what really has worked out well for people. So we love your feedback. Feel free to dialogue with us any which way that you want to, over Facebook or email, call our number, whatever. We're always glad to hear of your response and your creative things too, because the other thing we find with window cleaners is you guys are constantly solving problems and addressing challenges that we have no idea exist, and you come up with some of the darndest ideas. A lot of the products we showed you earlier actually were innovations by window cleaners that the manufacturers thought, this is a great idea, we're going to go ahead and make a product that does this. Towels are something that are very individual. You like to have a certain texture of towel. Even if you get into trying to detail your customers' chandeliers and lights, we have polishing cloths, which are very fine, almost like what you would use. Well, the same thing as you would use on your eyeglasses, but they're large size. You know, so you take something like this, if you're cleaning people's sconces or their chandeliers or even mirrors and detailing, these are very, very good, very popular. Makes it nice. We also sell the terry cloth
like
towels.
Jewelry cloth. Man.
Yep, exactly. It'll keep your jewels polished. Microfiber towels of all different texture. That seems to be the thing that even some of the ones that have a real texture to them. These hold a lot of water. They're kind of fun to have around, and they do a good job of drying without leaving any fuzz or residue. Ropes, we sell all that stuff for you to be able to get up and go. New England, Blue Water, Sterling, all of those ropes we try and keep in stock, and we'll have them ready for you if you need them. And one of the other new lines that's come out here the last couple of years has been Moerman. We were looking at their flick tools earlier. They actually even have a special pole tip. Their tool, you tend to do a lot of moving around and twisting of the hands. So with their pole tip, it locks onto their particular squeegee, locks into place, and that'll help it to be able to hold securely for you do your job. Tucker, we sell a lot of the Tucker poles as well. Those are a popular water-fed line. And that about concludes the full circle tour of everything that we have here. And we do try and keep everything here. Our goal is always to ship everything within 24 hours when orders come in. And again, we love the dialogue. We love to learn from window cleaners what's working for you, what kind of systems you've created, and how we maybe can help and give that information to other window cleaners as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I notice whenever I get anything from you guys, I mean, I'm also in Michigan, but it shows up like pronto. So
Yep,
cool.
it's one of our keys. Try to ship everything within 24 hours.
Sweet, man. All right, back up here.
Put some soaps up here and talk about the...
Yeah, in a minute. I want to close this video off. Well, cool, Mike. Thanks for the tour of the inside of your store. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great, Keith. Always good to see you, and always welcome to Window Cleaners. So come on by and let us know how we can help you out. Give us a call. Reach us anytime you want.
All right. Awesome. All right. Later. How do you clean windows in the freezing winter? How do you stop window solution from freezing on glass? We're finally going to get our question answered. We're with Mike from Detroit Sponge Chamoix in Wixom, Michigan. What's up,
Keith.
Mike?
Good to see you.
And dude, you got to tell us, man. You got these products here, these solutions, and talk about it. Talk about it.
Sure, it's one of the more common questions that we get for all of us that live in the northern half of the country. Obviously, there's a lot of the year where we're fighting with the 30-degree freezing mark, and water, of course, freezes at 32 degrees. So you got to figure out how to make water behave unnaturally. Sounds very complicated. Basically, alcohol is the key for your solution, not for yourself. But for the solution, if you use windshield washer solvent, tends to be the solution that most window cleaners will go to. That'll carry you down to where you're working in the 20s, maybe into the 15s, depending on the wind chill. When it gets colder than that, the only answer is to use stronger stuff. Methanol is the pure strength alcohol that's most effective when you dilute it into your solution. You're going to add that to what you're currently using. There are a lot of hazards with using methanol. It's not something that you want to play around with. It's a very hazardous liquid. But over time, when you have a job that has to be done and it's very, very cold outside, that's what the pro window cleaners have used over the years.
So methanol?
Mm-hmm, methanol.
Where do you get methanol?
Methanol is something you need to buy from a chemical supplier. It's going to have to be something in your local area because of its flammability, and you really can't transport it, and it's not really something that gets shipped. So you would end up buying it from a local chemical supply place. If not, if you notice the windshield washer solvent that you have, there are different strengths of that too. Some are rated down to lower temperatures. The lower temperature it's rated for, the stronger concentrate it's going to be.
What I was doing when it was freezing is I was going to the dollar store, so I'd get windshield washer solvent. That'd be my I would just mix up a concoction. I'd pour a whole bottle of rubbing alcohol with Dawn dish soap and vinegar.
Well, you're mixing a lot of chemical families there, and that's not really what you want to do. You want to do something that's going to keep you more predictable and be able to mix it. The fact is,
does rubbing alcohol do anything?
Rubbing alcohol works, but what you'll find is that rubbing alcohol, there you go, good answer. When rubbing alcohol, you get down to a certain temperature, it starts to fall off in its effectiveness much faster and more rapidly than, say, methanol. So the methanol is going to get you down a lot colder and be more effective. The isopropyl only gets you down so far. Isopropyl alcohol has been used for a lot of things for years for window cleaners, but for the actual cold weather, not freezing, that's not necessarily the most appropriate use for it.
Okay, what are these right here? What are these products?
These are some of our most popular concentrates. This is our best seller. It's Dazzle 100. Super concentrate, meaning that this particular bottle here is 32 ounces. It'll make up to 320 gallons of ready to use. So we even sell it for the occasional users as the small 8-ounce bottles, and this is enough to make 80 gallons. This works out very well if you have a stable water source where there's not a lot of water softeners involved. If you're working in different jobs where some people are on wells and some people are on city water, and you can have softened water versus regular water at the next job. The Glass Clean 4, which is made by the same people that make the Dazzle, this is a little bit more, you use a little bit more of this in your solution when you go to mix it. It's more like 1/4 of an ounce per gallon of water.
I got an idea. Let's put a link below. I'll put a link in the description below to these products specifically if you want to check out Dazzle or Glass Clean. Because
Yeah, either way, they work out great.
But do they help stop in colder weather?
They are not going to work out for cold weather at all. There's no alcohol in them. It's actually the opposite. The professional solutions are designed so it keeps the window wetter a little bit longer to give you a chance to be able to have your squeegee slide on the glass. So,
so when you're saying like when it's freezing out, and you take your mop, your scrubber, and you put your solution across the window and it flattens out and the wind hits it, it just turns to a sheet of ice.
correct. The only thing you're going to be able to do to that is help with some sort of alcohol, which would be most commonly your windshield washer solvent. There are other options that you can get into that are a little bit stronger. If you go to the automotive supply place, they'll be able to clue you in on some of the appropriate things that are used for RVs that would dilute well in water. But with windshield washer solvent, there's a certain point where you're either using it 100% or it's still going to freeze. At that point, you would have to step up to something more like the methanol.
Methanol.
Yeah. Not easy answers, but again, remember you're trying to bend nature because water freezes and creates its own challenges when it gets so cold.
Cool. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Keith.
He's a cool guy. I like this guy. So what is it with window cleaning solutions using dish soap or putting vinegar or getting something like Glass Gleam 4? Like, why would you use that over dish soap? What's up? I'm Keith at Detroit Sponge with Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Keith.
Hope
Good
you're
to see
doing
ya.
awesome.
Yep.
And Mike owns a window cleaning supply tool store. He ships all over the country, and I'm here buying some stuff for my business because I'm a window cleaner. But, dude, tell us about the whole soap dilemma so we can learn the difference and why.
Sure. Well, you can obviously use a lot of different things to clean windows. One of the things that you'll read and you'll see a lot of people using are dish soap. The reality is dish soap does a good job. It gets the particles of dirt suspended in the water so that your squeegee can rip all that off the glass. It's going to work out fine for you in a lot of cases. But dish soap is not designed for use on a transparent surface that's vertical. So it does leave certain things that it doesn't do real well. You move into some of the more professional concentrates that we sell that are designed, and the chemists have designed them so that they will do things like want to retreat back to itself to where when you wipe it or you run your squeegee across it, it makes it easier to detail the edges, doesn't push that water and spread the water as much into the edges and the rubber gaskets of your windows.
Wait. You just said that really fast. Say that last phrase again.
Well, they design the solution so that it behaves differently because you're trying to use it on glass. So their concern is for you to be able to wipe it well from the edges and not leave any residue behind when you clean it up. With the dish soap, it's not designed that way. Dish soap's designed for dishes, which are usually washed with lots of water, but it does cut the grease and the grime. So,
Sorry.
And if you're good enough at squeegeeing, I don't think it matters what you put in the bucket. If you got your probably 5-10 year badge in window cleaning, you can just clean the window with anything. But when you're training people or you're really trying to make a presentation to the customer, these solutions will make sure that they don't leave any residue behind and the windows will actually stay shinier longer. You don't get that haze, a little bit of residue that you'll see sometimes from dish soap afterwards. So the professional concentrates are also easy to use. They all have SDS sheets on them so you can easily give it to property managers, telling them exactly what's in your bucket. It makes it a little bit more of a comfortable conversation. Yeah.
I feel like we're on QVC, man.
Yeah.
So I'll put these below in the description if you're interested in Glass Gleam 4. What are they? Sparkle 100?
Dazzle 100.
Dazzle 100 Glass Gleam 4. Yep. And what are these specifically? Like the difference between the two?
The Dazzle's a little bit more concentrated, so if you're using it on your regular stable source of water, it's a city water supply, it can work out fantastic. But you're only using 1/10 of an ounce per gallon when you mix it up. When you go over to the Glass Gleam 4, it's designed so it has some buffers in there. If you just say you've gotten water before from a customer that has a well and you notice that that water behaves a little differently than the water that maybe you grabbed in the city water supply, that's because of the water softening that most people do on well water. The Glass Gleam 4 is going to stabilize and blend a little bit better for you when you're using it on that type of a variety of water sources. But either one are designed to do the same thing. Either one are considered super concentrates. The Dazzle is going to make you.
We call that the GG Fo? Yeah. GG Fo.
Yep.
GG 4.
GG 4.
Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yep. You're welcome.
So what's the best mop, the best scrubber to use for cleaning windows? I'm here at Detroit Sponge in Wixom, Michigan with Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how you doing, Keith?
And dude, I got a question. I use this Unger Monsoon, And I've also got this one as well. I like them both. But sometimes when you're cleaning windows, there could be some gunk on the windows that you don't want to maybe take a scraper out or some steel wool, and you just want to scrub it off. Can you show some other scrubbers, because I know you got plenty of them here, and some of the most reliable ones, and why are they different? Why is there so many types?
Sure. Well, like you had said, one of your favorites is a great all-around scrubber, holds a lot of water. The things that the fibers that the sleeves are made from can vary, but in your situation where you're talking about and you have extra stuff that's on the glass that might need a little extra abrasiveness to get off, some of the other manufacturers that we sell, Unger has one that has a pad stitched down the side of it. And obviously you can see that this is pretty abrasive and it's safe for use on glass. One of the more creative ones is the porcupine scrubber from Ettore. This one actually has little pieces of nylon stitched into it. They do recommend to not use this on windows that have film on them. But with this nylon pieces that stick up, it's really, they call it a porcupine. It's one of the best names for products that we have. It works great to penetrate the pressure and break the surface tension of the stuff on the glass and get it off. And a lot of the sleeves that you buy too, you'll notice that they have the tab at the end, which is designed.
Oh, I got this one too.
Yep, and this has got an abrasive tab, and that's to try and get you to where instead of pushing harder and harder with the whole scrubber, you take it on its end and you do your scrub that you need to on that fingerprint or the bird or whatever that hit the glass, and that allows you to be able to get that more abrasiveness and also to protect your life with a sleeve so it's not always poking through the end by simply taking and rotating and using that. So there's different sleeves available. The material, the green one that you mentioned, this is what is considered a microfiber. It's one of our best-selling microfibers.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, dude. You can sop up a lot of solution in this and a lot of soap. And so I notice when I use this one versus this one, I mean, this is my all-around favorite one. If it's a super hot summer day, I know this, basically, here you go. I know I'm getting in detail with this. I like this one for outside and I like this one for inside. Let me know in the comments below, because this one somehow it like retains the water better instead of it just dripping and falling off.
Yep, and then what Unger's also done is they've taken one step further and now they've put both of this type of material into one sleeve.
Oh, cool.
Along with some finer edged material in there too, so where you get some scrubbing. This is their Ninja sleeve. And same thing with the Ettore sleeves. Now they've blended some of the microfiber as well as cotton fibers.
Okay, yeah, I got one of these.
You know, because you can use 100% microfiber sleeve. It gives you a little different effect. Fantastic for indoor stuff, but sometimes you like that cotton property too to be able to really scrub the window well.
This yellow one, and then we'll go to those ones. But what's up with this?
Sure. This is another one that's one of the best sellers that we have from the Ettore line. It's a blend of materials. The microfiber component, though, it does a great job of scrubbing, and then has the abrasive strips at the top, at the ends, too.
Ah, okay.
Some of the others that are out there, Moerman Tools is a new one that came on the market a couple years ago. It's a very good grade of a microfiber, and it has the abrasive at the end. And then Sorbo makes his own line. Wilger's kind of an interesting story. He's a small material maker that we have. It's independent, U.S. made. Very good grade of microfiber. You can feel how soft it feels.
Yeah,
that's because the fibers are so they're so split.
Can you fix it?
Yeah, sure. Fix it back up. There we go. We got it all back up.
Cool.
Yeah, and then there are things you can actually put over top of your sleeves to give you more abrasive as well. So if you're doing a house that's on a lake and there's a lot of spider issues, you know, you can use stuff like this. This is called a Blue Devil, and it just simply gives you more abrasive when you're out there on the glass. So a lot of choices. Don't forget too that you can pick the size that you have. We have everything from 6-inch all the way up to real large sizes too. So whatever size you like.
I just think it's funny because if you weren't a window cleaner and you're watching this video, you'd be like, okay. Like there's so many different types of scrubbers. I think let me know in the comments below if you're actually like a window cleaning nerd and you love this stuff.
Yeah.
What's up with this thing?
That is the Moerman Ultimate Squeegee. So you'll see a lot of these publicized now online. It takes the liquidator squeegee channel from Moerman with its specially designed tipped-in tips and its accelerator handle, so they can be very.
Hey guys, look in this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up. Just to let you know, look in the description below. We'll do some videos as well with the squeegees, all the different squeegees. So I'll put the squeegee videos below. Okay. Yep. Keep going.
The intention with this one is that you can actually scrub the window, flip this out of the way, and be able to squeegee the window. The pad can be attached in a couple different ways. This is one way on the top, The squeegee channel it pivots, the handle pivots. It's also a handle that can be varied angle-wise, so you can lock it in at different points.
Oh, that's sweet.
Some of the guys that have the best techniques, you'll see them out there, and you'll see a lot of videos where guys are doing this swirl technique on a pole, because the squeegee doesn't have really an angle to it, so that allows them, see how it's straight up and down, that allows them to be able to control that angle more with the pole. They'll be able to scrub.
Hold this. I actually like this a lot because, like, instead of putting your tool away, you could literally cut your time in half.
That's the
Okay,
intention
so we
of it.
a sport bottle of the window, scrub, just flip it back, squeegee, wipe next window. Yeah, let me know in the comments below if you use this. This is sweet, or any variation of this. I'm gonna buy one, and I want to try this in my business.
It's called the Moerman Ultimate Squeegee.
The Moerman Ultimate Squeegee. Sweet. Oh, I see how the edges are like that, so it really tucks in the corner of the glass.
Exactly.
We're gonna do some squeegee videos, man.
Is that all of these scrubbers? There's some over here.
Yep. There's some others over there too that are from Pulex. They offer their same kind of a blended fiber. They still have snaps to close this sleeve, whereas a lot of others have Velcro. This is a cotton. This is they have the abrasive to it, and this is one of the more popular that we sell there. Some people call that peppermint.
Peppermint.
The technical name
Wow,
of
that's
this one here is a Micro Tiger.
That's almost like Brillo.
It is still safe for glass, but it's definitely
Yeah, I like it.
The more aggressive it is when it first starts.
Sorry.
It's all right. But the more aggressive it is when it first starts, the faster it's going to wear out, lose its edge. So it's a good sleeve to use for a troubled situation where you need that extra abrasiveness.
I think I want to get one of these too for just to get that layer of crumb, like the first time you clean the house. You know?
Hasn't been cleaned since. Well, sweet. Thanks, Mike.
Yep, you're welcome.
This is Mike from Detroit Sponge, and I'll put links below to his website. And thank you.
You're welcome.
So the bucket on the belt for window cleaning. Look at these right here. I'm with Mike Woroway, the owner of Detroit Sponge in Wixom, Michigan, and we're here in the store. I'm getting some stuff for my window cleaning business, and I wanted to take an opportunity to make a video because there's different types of buckets on a belt. And I remember I got the Pulex one. I want to know in the comments below which one you use, and if you don't have one, that's why I'm making this video. But this is the Pulex, right? I got the Pulex bucket on a belt, and I like it. But
They also offer
Yeah.
a version that has a detachable clip.
oh, a detachable clip. Okay.
And that's when we break it down, we'll say this one has a loop, and then the other versions will have a detachable clip. So like this sidekick version from Atori here, or Ettore, this clip portion stays on your belt, and that allows you to detach the bucket on a belt, or the sidekick. This one's called a sidekick. Allows you to detach that from your person so that you can dump out the water when it gets dirty.
Super important, because I got the one that doesn't have a detachable clip, so I'm going to upgrade because it's kind of annoying when you have to tilt your whole body to dump the water out so it doesn't go down your leg. You know what I'm talking about. But I actually got this Ninja one, and I ended up not using it because my Sorbo squeegees, I wasn't aware at the time, they didn't fit like I thought they would. So can you talk a little bit about
Sure.
that?
Well, now the Ninja has changed the Ninja bucket on a belt current design has the larger slots in the middle so that you can actually fit any of the size channels that are commonly sold in the window cleaning world. If you don't know, the brass or stainless steel are the skinnier profile channels, and then the Sorbo or the Super Channel or the Ninja have a thicker profile to them. The channel's actually thicker. So Unger actually just came out with a new device that can slide down onto this little T that's down in here to take up some space too, so that if you're using the smaller channels, they don't rattle around as much, because they really designed this larger hole here for the larger profile channels like the Ninjas. And this one has probably the most features of the bunch. You can see how it pre-pivots. What that translates into is when you're wearing this on your belt and you bend over, so if you bend, the bucket on a belt's going to want to stay perpendicular to the ground. So that way you're not doing the whole, or when you bend over it.
No, dude, it's driving me nuts. My bucket on a belt, it'll start tilting
Yeah.
and then water will spill out of it on my leg or on a customer's floor.
Yep.
So that's how you get around that.
Well, this is one of the things.
But
you
how
know,
do you keep it
this
bottom
is-
weighted like a?
Right. Well, the water's supposed to keep it bottom weighted. So if you move a lot, this one can be one of those features
How
that
much
you don't
water
want.
are you supposed to put in it to keep it weighted like a
It all depends on what you're trying to do with it. Some people try and get away with re-wetting their washer and not having to go back to their bucket.
Yeah.
So they'll keep a lot of water in here. Other people, myself, I'm kind of clumsy. If I were to do that, I'd make a mess.
Yeah.
So I
'Cause
would
I
keep
don't.
a lot less.
Then the water that just kind of residually drips off the scrubber, whatever fills in like the bottom maybe 10% of this, and then I can kind of dip as I go.
Right. Just a little refresher to keep you going.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and this is one of the differences. You know, you got different features with different manufacturers. This one's from Ederay, and you can see that this one does not. It has two rivets that hold it in place, so it does not swing. So if you don't like the swinging of it, that's fine. But then you know when you bend over, it's going to want to do this.
Yeah.
So there's different features to it. Even the distance that it hangs down from the belt to where it is on your leg can make a difference. So that if it hangs down a little too far for you, it might hit you on the kneecap, and that can be irritating at the end of a long day of work for sure.
All right. So you got the Unger bucket on a belt.
Yep, that's a classic design. So that one's
That's
designed really for if you're using a skinny size squeegee channel, and the squeegee fits on the outside. You got the Tube X from Pool X.
2X with pull
And
X.
they offer that both
Pool
with a
X.
detachable clip
Yeah, yeah.
or also the loop. Then you got the most popular, probably the Ninja, Ergotech Ninja.
Yeah, that's sweet. I like how it's got the grooves for your scrubber.
Yep. And then this one here is the Ederay Sidekick. It's available both ways as well, with the detachable clip or with the loop.
Cool. You guys ship all over the country.
We do.
Cool.
We do.
All right, sweet. I'll put a link to Mike's website, Detroit Sponge, in the link below this video. And thanks, Mike.
Yep. Thank you.
What's the best kind of razor to use when you're cleaning windows? I'm here with Mike at Detroit Sponge in Wixom, Michigan. They ship all over the country. But when you're cleaning windows, there's all these different options for razors. And I want to ask Mike directly, the owner of Detroit Sponge, what are all these different razors for? What kind should you use in different applications? And I also want him to talk about the liability of scratching glass probably. What is the proper way to use a razor? So give us a quick demonstration, Mike.
Sure, absolutely. How you doing today? The scrapers are designed for removing their paint, overspray, tape, whatever, stickers from the glass. This is a traditional smaller 1.5 inch razor. Overall, this is probably the safest way to scrape glass. It allows you to be more in control of the debris that you're removing. You know, a couple of quick tips on scraper technique, regardless of the size. We can get into talking about the size and the composition of scrapers in a minute. But the quick tip is you always scrape, lift, scrape, lift. Don't scrape back and forth. So when you're going on the surface, none of this, because when you do, this tuck towel is a good example. You grab the material and you end up sticking it back under the blade. So let's say you take a chunk of sand or something off the glass, you're going to end up trapping it under the blade.
This light, the thing is kind of...
There you go. Yeah, you're going to trap it under the blade and you could end up causing yourself a hazard on the job. And there are different types of glass surfaces for you to be aware of out there. The overall consensus is tempered glass is one of the things that you really want to be careful with scraping. A lot of people are using steel wool now as their go-to for glass, for removing debris. But if you end up deciding that scrapers are the right choice for the job, which is part of your decision as a contractor, you got to make sure you're choosing the right job for the situation. There are a lot of different scrapers to choose from. You have everything from that 1.5 inch scraper to one of our best sellers over time is this one from Ederay, where it's 3 3/4 inches wide. It's a nice scraper, and you can see how here, if you look at it down the shaft of it, it kind of tips the angle back up away from the glass, so it gives you a little bit of lift to make sure that that scraper is in the correct angle when you go to use it. It's also got an angled handle, so it makes it very convenient if you ever want to put it onto a pole. All of these scrapers can be used on a stick, but this one here is a little bit of a natural angle, almost like a squeegee handle. That's a 3 3/4 inch, then you kind of go up to a 4 inch. This is a nice one from Unger. Nice cap. See the blade edge sticks up there. Easy blades to change. This one has the little nub that sticks out. You push it in, pull it out the other side.
Ooh, very sharp.
They are double-edged blades too, to where this edge is sharp as well as that. So you could technically flip the blade over and get twice the life out of it.
Yeah, right there. See that? Well, 2012, I had one of those irresponsibly under the seat of my truck, and I reached under a trip to the hospital. Stitches, man.
Yeah, they don't stop. These blades are sharpened with a real precision. The biggest thing that we see that stops the scraper blade is bone. So you really don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to have that. We've seen a lot of bad outcomes of guys versus scrapers. Even dramatic things. You don't want to finish off the story, but when you drop a scraper and you're on a ladder, it's always going to fall heavy end down, which is where the blade is. So this falling through the air doesn't usually end well. So this is a 5-inch scraper from Atori. Every one of these is different sizes. This is 5 inches stainless steel blade, whereas the first two that we looked at had of a carbon steel. Stainless steel is going to be more resistant to rust. It is a thinner blade than the carbon, but for your ordinary type of scraping, paint, flex, tape, the stainless steel blades do a great job, and they do allow you to keep that blade life longer.
Some of these below if they want to check them out?
Absolutely, yeah,
These
they're
are
all
on your
available.
website, right?
Yep, and so many of our tools, like everything else, we offer a lot of choices, and the key is for you to figure out what works best for your belt and for your efficiency on the job, and then ultimately for that customer of yours to keep them happy. This is one from Triumph. Triumph is one of the go-to brands for the professional window cleaning contractor. This one has a retractable blade guard, so you push this in and that leaves the blade exposed. So if you don't like that motion of taking the cap off of a scraper, this allows you to be able to simply slide this up with one hand.
Yeah, that's cool.
You just have to make sure that you secure it back in place, because if this thing is sticking up, like you mentioned, Keith, it can really end poorly. It can end your day and it can really mess you up. The other scrapers would be, this is another one from Triumph. That's a 6-inch, same thing, except this one has the cap to it. This one has a rubberized grip to it.
Why a bigger razor versus a smaller one, the wider?
Well, obviously it's going to be
faster.
time. Yep, it's going to be efficiency on the job. So it depends on the type of surface you're trying to remove.
And real quick, I got into post-construction cleanup brand new windows. I got out of it immediately. I didn't like it. One is because of the liability, and although we have all of our clients sign waivers for glass scratch no matter what, we discontinue doing any scraping unless the customer explicitly wants it. I go through the whole explanation, do a pre-tripping inspection, document any pre-existing scratches on their windows, plus make them sign the release form. But there are guys also, let me know in the comments below, like, that's their bread and butter, is they love doing that type of cleanup, and they make good money because some other window cleaners don't like to do that. So is this where this comes into play, or is this a more just common everyday use? Because I don't use these in my business.
Right. Well, many people have now adapted that practice where their policy is they don't use scrapers. There are always exceptions, but for the most part, they just do not use scrapers. We've heard that from big companies, some people that we do business with that have 30, 40 employees, that they simply have pulled all the scrapers from the field as a general tool. There are a lot of conversations going on about glass surfaces and what causes scratches. It's usually the debris that's the source of the issue, from my opinion, for what it's worth. But there are some things that are about glass surfaces now that are different than the way that they were engineered and manufactured years back, and it does make a difference. So many people will say our slogan around here is the right tool for the right job. So I would say that if it's the appropriate choice, sure, use a scraper, but don't just blindly grab the scraper and try and use it for everything, because you're probably going to have some challenges on certain jobs that you wouldn't have had if you used a different tool.
And then with the tint test.
Yep, tint is always a dangerous thing with the scraper. Tint is just put onto the glass surface, so it's easy then if you're using a razor, you're going to nick that tint, you could mar it. That's usually a no-go.
So what's the proper way to actually use a scraper?
Sure. When it comes to the debris that you're loosening off the glass, that's a lot of the concerns. So when you scrape, you want to scrape, lift, scrape, lift. You do not want to do this.
In any direction?
Well, single direction usually.
And then always make sure the window is wet and soapy.
Correct. Wet, lubricated with that window cleaning soap. Again, scrape, lift, scrape, lift. The whole reason is you do this, and it has that wonderful effect of grabbing the debris and putting it underneath the blade, and then you're scratching the debris back and forth across the glass, which that could very well end poorly. So scrapers are a great professional tool. The 6-inch size, it's amazing how much ground you can cover with that. If you're trying to remove a tint or a film for someone, or you're removing large stickers or holiday spray, when people put up their spray on their stores, it can make you a lot of time. It can be great. Good, safe practices. Keep the window wet, keep it lubricated. Straight lift, for back. Holsters are nice because that
This one's
allows
pretty
you.
sleek. It fits right on the belt.
Yep.
And then this one.
That's
tucks
the
right
Unger
in.
one that's designed to go with their Unger Ninja scraper. It's also one of those scrapers that can be angled here at the joint, or if you want to use it on a pole, maybe you need that angle. Or if you want to use it straight, you can do that.
Oh, that's cool.
All the ways back into the holster.
Name them all off real quick, like the Unger Ninja
Sure.
Scraper. What are the names of all of them?
Yep.
So you can identify.
This is the Triumph MK3. It's got the rubberized grip. This is the Unger Ninja Scraper. The size is the 6-inch. They also offer a 4. This is the Ettore Champion Scraper. It's a 5-inch version. 4-inch Ergotech Scraper from Unger. 6-inch Triumph retractable blade cover. 3 3/4-inch Ettore Scrape Master. And then this one is the version we have is from Unger. It's just a little widget, but that's the one that has the 1.5-inch blade.
Cool. You have all these on the website.
We do, and more.
I'll put a link below on the website if you guys want to check these out. And then these are all the scrapers you have in the store. These types.
No, we have more to choose from, different sizes of them all, but it's the same kind of themes. So much of it just depends on what you're looking for on your job and what room you have on your belt.
So what's like the biggest scraper you have in the store?
For glass, the 6-inch is the largest.
Yeah.
That seems to be, once you get past that point, the glass surface isn't perfectly solid or straight, so they seem to find that the 6-inch conforms the best. You get much bigger than that and it doesn't work out so well.
And it's just a real quick on fabrication debris.
Yeah, it's quite a topic that's out there. There's a bunch of different organizations that have done research about the way glass is made now and the way that production is done through factories. You can search out fabricating debris, glass surfaces. I've had a friendship with Gary Maurer for years. He's done a lot of years of research on this, as well as the International Window Cleaning Association has funded some research for this as well. It's a growing concern and a growing topic out there, because obviously the window cleaners, you're the last ones to ever touch the glass, the final person. So they're always going to want to say that the final person that did it is what caused any problem that might exist. But in a construction environment, that can be true, but it can also be not true. So it's a real learning science at the moment with glass and the way glass is manufactured. It's worth becoming educated about. Biggest warning signs we would communicate would be tempered glass is something you want to proceed with caution on. Maybe not even use a scraper.
Yeah, the way I learned, well, almost the hard way, was do a lot of research before you even buy a razor and touch it to the glass, because if there's ever a problem on a property, you better have a really educated answer for your customer really quick, because then you might actually take responsibility for something you didn't even do. Does that make sense? So cool. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you very much.
Squeegees and it's like almost like the beginning of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Okay, Squeegees and squeegee channels. Look at all these. Whether you've been a window cleaner for 20 years or you're just getting started, it might be confusing because there's so many different types of squeegees and squeegee channels and rubber and different handles and ergonomic handles, rotating handles, swivel handles. So I'm here right now with Mike from DetroitSponge.com. And I'm actually at his window cleaning tool store, and he's going to give us a quick demonstration of all these different types of squeegees. Maybe you're using the same type of squeegee and you've never changed it up because what you use works, but there might be something actually better. So, Mike, what's up, Mike?
Hey, how you doing, Keith?
Very well, sir.
We're going to try and keep something that's very simple, very simple.
Okay.
It can become very complicated with all the different choices and things that are out there and varieties of channels. It's something that starts out very timeless with the design. You go back to one of the originals, and you have the Ettore brass squeegee channel. It's got the rubber. You can see how the rubber sticks out a precise amount here above the channel lip, so it gives you a good slide on the glass. You got a little bumper sticking out of rubber at the ends. This is the design that's been around the longest. This is what's considered a channel that uses end clips to hold the rubber in place. So you see how the rubber here does not slide at all. When to change the rubber or to see how that's held into place, there are these end clips that are on the end of the rubber, and that helps you to make sure you know exactly that rubber is going to be held in, that there's going to be a little bit bumper at the end. Most of the manufacturers make a version of this that is going to be stainless steel or brass. This is the Ettore brass. It's one of the best sellers every year. Works real well, slides real well. The other style of the thinner channels like this really are the ones that are what would be considered clipless. So unlike the last one that we had where the rubber at the end was held in place by that clip. This one, the rubber actually slides. And then the handle has teeth, which correspond to the holes in the back of the channel, the notches, so that it holds that rubber in place. And now the rubber is held. So you get the same, somewhat of the same effect of the rubber not being able to move around much at the end, but it's done in a different way with the rubber being held in the center by a plate. Hopefully that makes a little bit of a distinction with that. There's a whole bunch of channel selections that go with it, but sticking with the channel theme.
So this one is the, what's this one? The name of it again?
This is the Ettore brass squeegee channel.
Yep. And then this one is
Unger Ergotech
the
squeegee channel.
Ergotech squeegee channel.
Yep, and that's made of stainless steel.
Okay.
Versus this one's brass. Brass is a little bit heavier. Stainless is a little bit lighter, a little bit more rigid. The thing with the brass is it kind of flexes a little bit, so the old timers always seem to prefer the brass, but you know, the weight of the stainless is nice because as you wash enough windows, the weight and the fatigue of your wrist and elbow starts to play into it. And there are other thin style channels that are out there. This is the new Liquidator channel that came out from Moerman a couple years ago. It's a popular channel. It's made of lightweight aluminum. They've taken and actually bent the ends here, but this is another where the design really is just brackets at the end that hold the rubber in place, but they don't stop it from sliding. So the handle ends up having teeth to it that bite into that rubber that hold it into place.
Well, I know that Liquidator is really popular. I haven't used it yet, but I see it online all the time. What in your eyes, from your feedback and being a seller of tools, is so cool about the Liquidator?
Yeah, well, old timers used to take and they would do what they call dog earing the channel, where you'd take this end of the channel and you'd bend it with a pair of pliers towards the glass. So bend it towards me just a little bit, and the effect would be that this rubber would be just a little push towards the window, towards the glass surface. So then when you're up in the corner of the glass and you're trying to make sure that that cut in the corner really wipes cleanly, by having that little extra support of the channel bent towards the rubber, it helped to hold in place. So Moerman actually figured out how to go ahead and make that into their clip design at the end.
Oh, that's sweet. That's actually one of my issues when I'm cleaning windows. So I could see I was just slightly bent down to create that downward pressure. So there's, right in the corner.
Yep, just to make it a little bit more precise. Because obviously when you're removing water from that upper corner, it's important to be precise, catch that water and cut it away from the glass. Unger came out with a version of their Ergotech channel 2 that they've been selling in Europe for years that they brought here, where they did the same thing and they dog-eared the channel. But that's the style of the skinnier channels. Then, you know, a few years back, Sorbo came out in the United States a decade, I don't know, a couple decades ago.
This is what I use, Sorbos.
And these are a much thicker channel. They're made of aluminum, so they're not really much heavier, but they're much more rigid, and they hold their shape better. So that translates into you being able to use even larger size channels, so maybe a 24-inch size squeegee channel, without much effort, much extra effort over the 18s, because there's not much difference in the weight, and with the thickness of the channel, it really holds its shape well. You get the brass up above 22 inches, and it starts to not be as true. And then inside of all of these choices of the thicker channels, which would be the Sorbo, the Super channel from Ettore, the Ergotech Ninja from Unger, and then the Sorbo. Inside of that, you'll notice that Sorbo really has a unique rubber shape. So it's shaped kind of like a T. A lot of people refer to this as T rubber. The Super channel and the Ninja still use the traditional shape rubber, which is the round rubber. So the Ettore Super channel and the Ninja will allow you to still use your traditional type of squeegee rubber.
Links to these all below, because you sell all these, you ship them all over the country.
Yep.
So I'll put links to all these channels and handles. We're going to talk about these handles too.
Sure.
And you know, we'll talk about the squeegee, the actual handles in the next video. So I'll put a link below this directly to the squeegee handle video. So we're going to talk about that. Click on that. And then the one thing I was questioning, because I use Sorbos in my business, what's up with these? They look similar.
Well, you will find each squeegee really is designed with its own angle and kind of engineering behind it. The Ettore Super channel, you can tell by looking at it that there's a bit more rubber that sticks up above the lip here, the distance from there to there versus there to there. It's slightly longer in the Super channel. That's going to give you a little different slide effect. All that translates into different amounts of pressure, different angles. whether it's more appropriate or easier to use on pole work, and all of that is going to vary by you as the user. We sell a great amount of the Sorbo products as well as the Ninjas and then the Super Channels. So it really comes down to you being comfortable with the tool that you have and figuring out which one works the best for you.
What's the most popular seller? The top most popular
Sure.
sellers?
All of these brands really represent the top seller. The newest one to us has been the Liquidator. That's been the newest one in the last couple of years.
Oh, so they're all top sellers.
Yeah,
Okay.
they really are. What we commit ourselves to doing is carrying the full quality product that are gonna hold up to the professional rigors of the window cleaning contractor out there when you guys are working and washing windows. And from there, you got to decide with your personality. Some people, it's honestly the difference between the thick channels and these thin channels. Sometimes it can even come down to what your brain and your eyes are picking up as you use the squeegee, because your vision, your line of sight with the thinner channel is entirely different than it is with the thicker one. Yeah, you might not even see the rubber contacting the glass.
Oh yeah, I wanted to know what squeegee are you using? Let me know in the comments below. Let us know which squeegee are you currently using and what are you thinking about using. I use the Sorbos, and I'm personally more of a kinesthetic, so it has to feel right to me. And let me know if you have to see it. Does that make sense? Have you heard of anything like that?
Sure.
Because you're talking about.
Sure, absolutely. Well, there's so many
kind of a
things that
muscle
affect
memory
it.
thing.
Yep. And what you feel is the weight, all those type of things. Even the type of work that you do. If you're doing windows in houses that can be really large, having the ability to have a Sorbo that might be larger than the traditional, say, 18-inch size squeegee really can make a difference and save you a lot of time. It's truly, there's so many choices and good quality tools. It's a matter of figuring out what's best for your job.
Sweet, sweet.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, Mike, for the demonstration.
No problem.
All right, this is Mike from DetroitSponge.com. Thanks so much, Mike, for the demonstration. You're an awesome guy. And
Thanks, Keith.
later.
Later.
Mike's on Instagram too, Detroit Sponge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's posting on Instagram. So what are the different squeegee handles that you can use in your window cleaning business? What's up? I'm Keith Kalfas and I'm with Mike Woroway right now. He's the owner of Detroit Sponge. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Keith.
And I've been curious because I use the same type of Sorbo handle for my squeegees in my business, but there's so many different options available that Mike's going to do a demonstration for us and show us what's available. In the previous video, I'll put a link in the description below. You can look at all the different squeegee channels and squeegee rubber, but here we're going to look at all the different handles you can use. What's up, Mike?
Hey. So yeah, there's a lot of choices out there for squeegee handles. We talked about the squeegee channels, and that does kind of make sure you gotta make sure you pick a handle that works with the channel that you've picked. But concept-wise, I think it's important to kind of see what the goal of these handles are and why they were designed and engineered the way that they were. So just for example, obviously you would never use a squeegee like this, but we've loaded all of these squeegee handles onto this one channel, and the reality is each one holds the channel at a different angle. Well, where that plays into it is that's going to affect how you have to hold the squeegee when you go to use the product up on the glass. So traditionally, this brass one here has about the most normal traditional squeegee angle to it. And from there they've taken and they've maybe made the distance from the bend to where the channel is a little bit longer. They've even on this one made it a lot longer so that you can see if you had a window that had a ledge, you could actually do that. Nice plastic handle.
So if you
from
do primarily
Edere.
commercial or residential, you're going to want to change up the handle based on
Correct.
what is the best for you.
And then inside of that angle, there's also this whole concept that's really blown the window cleaning world away for the last 30 years, is the pivoting handle.
Yeah.
So instead of having to be straight in front of the glass or straight in front of the glass, you can now angle it and be out to the side. You can reach up a little bit higher. You can also, when you get to the bottom of the glass, instead of having to bend over as far, you can put the angle this way and come across and finish the glass. Allows you on the round top windows to be able to kind of set the angle and go up there and clean the window, come around. So that's what's called as a swivel. This is a particular one is called the Super System from Edere.
The Super System from Edere.
And it's designed so it has
Well,
a
I'll put
little
a
bit of
link below.
attention.
I'm going to have them I'm gonna have him name all these off, the names of them, and I'll put links in the description below so you can actually see what they are and check them out, because they're all on your website, right?
Yep.
Okay.
There's
Cool.
this and more on the website. And again, all these handles exist because they're largely they're gonna tackle and help you solve different problems. So this one here, you can see that it has that angle tipped towards the glass, like a more of a traditional, the brass squeegee handle.
Yep.
Well, this one is from Unger, and it's their 0 degree. 0 degree meaning this angle right here at the joint is straight up and down instead of being tipped towards the glass. What that allows you to do, so example, let's say you have a skylight and you need to squeegee it, and it's recessed. So the window sets up here and the lip is there. This allows you to take that squeegee and all the way down to the edge, clean across. Or if it's recessed in a brick lip, you can go all the way over to the side, whereas ordinarily you would get down to about here and you can't make that turn. So that's where the 0 degree really comes into play. A very popular handle nowadays, another one that's been around that's the 0 degree is the one from Moerman called their accelerator. Same type of big reward on that one is you get to use it at that 0 degree, which allows you, if you're ever trying to snake on a pole, you see a lot of the fancy techniques, so the guys are snaking on the pole, you need that handle to be 0 degrees. Otherwise, at some point when you're snaking, it gets to be too much on its angle isn't right. So this is where the 0 degree allows you to be able to finish it all the way down. So basic terminology, you have traditional handles that don't pivot, that have like a quick release feature so that you can pop it in and off. This is the Ettore brass quick release handle. Then you have a variety that might be a little bit longer, more of a plastic rubberized grip, make it a little easier to hold on to. This is the Ettore Pro Grip squeegee handle. This is another one from Ettore that is the Ledger Ease. It's the one that really works to make ledgers easy for you, where if you have a 2 or 3 inch brick surround, this allows that squeegee to get all the way in there, to finish all the way off to the side. These are all going to work with the squeegees that have clips, end clips at the end that we talked about earlier. And then this is probably the best seller, the Ettore Super System. It has a quick release and it has the pivoting handle. So that allows you to have a couple of different features there.
Sweet.
Move over to the Unger, and you have the Unger traditional squeegee handle, which doesn't pivot. And it's going to last a long time because there's not a whole lot of moving parts to it. This is one that's designed for their clipless channels. So this is the handle, that's the Unger Ergotech handle. And then you have, we can do this one next. This is the Unger Swivel Lock 0 degree. Very, very popular for people trying to learn that swivel technique with the squeegee on a pole, so that you're doing your storefront window. You don't want to have to bend over all the way to the ground, so you're able to snake this all the way down to the bottom and finish off without having to bend, saving your wear and tear on your back. Very popular for that sophisticated swirl technique, as well as that the accelerator handle from Moerman, which works specifically with their style squeegee channels because of the way that the bracket's built. This other handle here is the Ergotech Ninja handle. This one is designed specifically at 40 degrees. Unger's great with engineering things, and they played with different angles, and they determined that the 40-degree angle is great. Yeah, and it actually has this feature where you can lock it in place.
Oh, cool.
To where if you don't want it to pivot, so maybe you're using it in some place and you don't want it to adjust,
Yeah,
you just lock that into place. You can also unlock it so that you can adjust the angle, right? So that's a good one. And then finally, that Sorbo squeegee that we talked about. Kind of a unique squeegee. Sorbo designed his own squeegee at his own particular angle. It's swivel, has quick release, so the lever here quick releases, and then the channel is able to slide inside of it. And that's just easy to mount there. Pop it into place and let you go. So that's the basic squeegee handles. There are even more options for you to consider if you look around the website. One of them that I've always enjoyed talking about is one that was designed by a window cleaner to solve a problem. He was washing the windows on a bank job in Iowa, where he was washing windows for a living, and there was a lip around the window, on the whole building, around every window there was a ledge, and he couldn't get his squeegee to go all the way down the bottom, and the swivel of going to the side really wasn't working out either, so he'd have to climb on a ladder. So instead he just decided to design his own squeegee product, his own handle. So he made what's called the Ledger.
I got one of those.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. He designed it like a window cleaner would, right? No moving parts. This one has actually got the quick release feature to it, but no moving parts, where this thing's going to last you until you lose it, basically. That's the truth. And he's now made these in a bunch of different sizes too. Sizes meaning the distance between where the bend is and where the squeegee is actually going to get held, so that you can actually depend on the size that you need for the ledge that you have.
Did you make one that's like so big you're driving, it's just hanging off the back?
Almost, not quite. We do have one that's almost feels as
That's
ridiculous.
insane, dude.
Yeah. But if you're at a particular challenge on a job and it's that deep out where your window is setting that far back in,
Dude, I wish I
this
knew
would
about
be the
that
choice.
thing. Because I cleaned this bank one time, this huge window
Cleaning job. Yeah, I wish I knew about that then.
Yeah, and it helps a lot. All of these tools, what's really neat to me about the window cleaning industry is that so much of this stuff comes up from the grassroots. So you guys that are out there, you come up with an idea, a modification for a handle, you figured out some way, hey, let us know, because it's great to share the ideas. I can't believe how many of these little innovations, for instance, even this whole pivoting handle was designed by a window cleaner. It was his concept. Ederay got on board with it, saw that it made a lot of sense, and started making it. But so many of these products are really driven by the guys out there using the tools. So you guys keep it up, keep challenging yourselves to figure out better ways to do jobs, and we'll continue to be able to offer you tools that other people have said work out real well.
Cool, thanks so much, Mike.
Okay.
Appreciate it, man. Finally got some questions answered about all the different squeegee handles that you can use. So check it out, DetroitSponge.com. I'll put a link to their website below if you want to check it out. Awesome, thanks, man.
Yep, you're welcome.
What type of water-fed pole should you get? Look at all these carbon fiber water-fed poles. What's up? I'm Keith Kalfas, and I'm at Detroit Sponge Window Cleaning Tool Store right now. And Mike, the owner, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Keith.
Hope you're doing well. He's going to give us a quick demonstration of the different poles